Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to talk about the importance of feasibility studies in infrastructure development. Before the shovel even hits the ground, infrastructure projects need careful planning, and without it, the risk can be catastrophic financially, legally, and socially. For example, the Denver airport wanted to put together a comprehensive luggage program, and without a feasibility study, they realized it was too complex. And when they started it, they lost tons of money. So without this, failed infrastructure projects would be everywhere. This is why feasibility studies are important. In today's video, we'll explore why feasibility studies are critical to the success of infrastructure development projects, whether it's building bridges, roads, or even urban development centers. Why does it matter? For governments, developers, and stakeholders, a feasibility study isn't just a formality. It's a roadmap to make informed decisions. So what is a feasibility study? A feasibility study evaluates the practicality, the financial viability, and overall potential success of a project. The purpose in infrastructure. Well, the purpose in infrastructure is when applied to infrastructure, it ensures the project meets technical, economical, and environmental criteria while aligning with the community and the stakeholders' goals. What are the areas that people should focus on when creating a feasibility study for infrastructure? Well, there's a few areas, and I'm going to go over 5 main areas. Now, these areas are different depending on the infrastructure you're developing, but generally they include 5 areas. Number 1, technical feasibility. This is, can the proposed infrastructure be built with the current technology, materials, and engineering methods, right? So is it technically feasible to actually build the infrastructure that the government or the association or the agency is trying to build? For example, this could be evaluating soil stability for a bridge construction, right? Or evaluating how much space there is to build a new library. This is technical feasibility. The next area that most feasibility studies include is economic feasibility. Does the project offer a favorable return on investment, or is it within budget constraints? So in short, right, does the government have enough money to build the new library or the new bridge or the new community center, right? And is it worth it, right? So is the new bridge going to have enough return on investment? Is it going to save enough on traffic? Is it going to create enough revenue through the tolls that it's worth building? Is it economically feasible? An example of this in your feasibility study could be a cost-benefit analysis of a new highway reducing traffic congestion, right? Or the economic benefit or cost benefit of a new library to a community. One of the next sections that's included in most feasibility studies is an environmental feasibility. So how will this project impact the environment, and can it comply with the regulations? So in this section, usually mention environmental impact assessments and mitigation strategies. So how can we mitigate our effect on the environment? And how will this development or infrastructure improvement impact the environment? All these assessments should be included in the section of the feasibility study, usually under the environmental feasibility. The next section most feasibility studies include is social feasibility, right? So how will the project affect local communities and stakeholders, right? So does the public accept the project? Are there displacement concerns? Will certain populations be displaced? Or will it improve the quality of life of the stakeholders of the community at large? These are all things that you want to include in the social feasibility study. And one of the last sections that most feasibility studies include is legal and regulatory feasibility. So, for example, are there any zoning laws or regulations that could block or delay the project? These legal and regulatory feasibility concerns are important because you don't want to run into a project and then find out that it's completely illegal to do, right? Or that there's regulations in place that would make it way too expensive or cost prohibitive. So why are feasibility studies essential? Well, number one is risk mitigation, right? So most feasibility studies identify the risks associated with those projects, those infrastructure projects. So identifying potential risks can save millions or billions in cost and years or decades in delays. An example could be a dam construction project halted due to underestimating the flood risks. Another section of why, another reason why feasibility studies are essential is you want to make informed decisions. So, informed decision making is one of the reasons. This provides stakeholders with data to decide whether to proceed, pause, or pivot, right? So it tells your government, local, state, or federal, hey, should we do this now? Should we do this later? Should we do it another way? Or should we just halt this whole project? Because our feasibility study shows one of those 3 or 4 options. The next reason why feasibility studies are essential is it assures that governments or agencies have efficient resource allocation. So this ensures that capital, labor, and materials are allocated optimally. Look, we all operate in a certain bubble. We all have limited resources, whether you're a business or government. And a feasibility study, what it does is it assures that you're using the capital, the labor, or the materials that you need in an efficient manner optimally. And another reason that feasibility studies are done is for compliance and funding. Sometimes banks, investors, government agencies, government boards, your local town board, your state Congress, your federal Congress or Senate wants to understand what's going on. They want to understand if this is feasible. And to do that, they say, hey, put together a feasibility study. Let us know if we have the resources, if we're capable, how long this will take, and give us a roadmap of exactly how we would do this. So banks and investors often require feasibility studies to approve funding. Same thing with governments, right? Local town boards, state legislators, federal governments, a lot of time need feasibility studies to approve the infrastructure project. They also demonstrate compliance with local laws and international standards. And one of the last reasons why people need feasibility studies is long-term planning. It sets the foundation for scalable and sustainable growth. It puts together an action plan to follow when the project is eventually approved. So real-world examples include, the Big Dog project in Boston, USA, where the lack of a feasibility study led to significant cost overruns and delays. The Suez Canal expansion. The feasibility study there ensured that there was a successful execution of the Suez Canal, right? And then you have things like high-speed rails. Just recently, California ran into a huge issue where they're spending billions of dollars in extra federal funds, probably because the feasibility study wasn't correct enough, right? The people that they hired to do the feasibility study didn't cover all their bases, and now they're overestimated or they underestimated the cost and they're running over on all of these costs. So these failures of the feasibility study initially is leading to an increased cost in the project. And this is the reason why you need a strong feasibility study based on real market data. Okay. So in summary, infrastructure projects are complex and they're costly. Feasibility studies provide clarity, direction, and assurances needed to make sure that your infrastructure project succeeds. And if you are in the government, you're a government official, you're a project manager, you're a private investor, you want to ensure that feasibility studies are done correctly so they make it a great starting point. So I hope this was helpful. If you're a government agent, if you are in a local, state, or federal government, or you're developing a large infrastructure project and need a feasibility study, reach out to me. I can definitely help. My firm can help. If you found this video helpful or you think there's another project manager out there that can use this to understand more about feasibility studies, give it a thumbs up, share it with them, share it on your social, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions about feasibility studies, please leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to answer it for you guys. And check out my other videos on feasibility studies, business planning, financial projections, and more. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.